What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Cap Sports. We are going to dive right into some drama that's been going on with the NIL and the portal and everything that's going on there. We're going to talk about the playoff weekend getting kicked off tonight with Indiana and Notre Dame. To my right, as always, we got the Preston Simpson.
What's up, y'all?
And joining us again on our Fridays is KJ.
Thank you for having me back, ladies and gentlemen.
I forgot your first name because I was about to put you on blast.
You know,
I think I know it, but I'm not going to put you on.
Actually, I have no. I was legit thinking about this morning. What is your name?
It's two letters. It's KJ.
Okay. Yeah, no. You told me before, and I forgot about it. But when I remember it, I'm gonna throw it out there.
When you figure it out, let me know.
Yeah.
Kadarius.
Tony.
What? That's not a K.
Kadarius Tony, he was referring to. Anyway, so yeah, the portal has been wild ever since players have been able to go into it. There's thousands of players that are going in, that are currently in, and by the day, there's too many to count. So we're going to go into talking about just with Alabama, the players that are leaving Alabama, some crucial pieces that are leaving Bama, going to other teams, and some guys that are leaving Bama and to fill voids for other teams potentially. So you never really know how they're going to do when they go to other teams. A lot of players doing it for money, which is wild to think about. You know, you got 18, 19-year-old kids chasing money at this point in their career.
What will we have done? That's what I asked myself.
And that's the thing. It's like it's hard to
for me,
blame them.
You know what? Like, I mean, I feel like we have a pretty good NIL. It's not going to stack up to your Texas A&M, probably Michigan. But for majority of the colleges, I do feel like we probably stack up. It really makes me question with the amount of players that we've had in the portal. Is it really down to money, or is it more so about how they feel?
Playing time wise?
Well, no. Well, yes, but how their received potential and growth as players is going to be received by the NFL going forward under DeBoer. Yeah. I wonder if they feel that going forward that, you know, they aren't going to get the correct exposure needed to go up in the draft at, you know, whatever point in their career, you know, their college careers that they can be drafted.
Yeah.
So I know we just feel like they don't quite think he's capable of getting them to that level.
Yeah. You know, we've said, you know, Saban left at the right time. He didn't want to deal with all this drama. But I'm curious, like, if he would have stayed, if he would have left this year, like the players he could have kept after last season.
Yeah.
Or the players that he could have potentially kept this year, because he's obviously well known for getting guys in the league. So that would have been interesting to see. But, yeah, I agree with you. It's like nobody really knows how DeBoer is right now. One player that was leaving, and with the help of DeBoer and Nick Sheridan mentioning the fact that this guy can play on offense, and Ryan Williams being a huge contributor into keeping Jalen Mbakwe.
That's all.
Played as a true freshman this past year.
17?
I don't think he's 17.
Oh, I thought we were talking Ryan Williams.
No.
I'm saying he is only 17.
Yeah. Mbakwe.
Still.
Yeah. But yes.
Yeah. Mbakwe played as a true freshman last year, but now, you know, with him coming back,
yeah, he's going to play
potential with him being playing both ways.
Yeah, so I definitely think that will be the case in our upcoming bowl game against Michigan.
Yeah, no doubt, because we got 4 receivers that are healthy.
So we have 2 receivers that have gotten really any playing time. All, you know, what our Kendrick Law
Law's leaving.
Manuel Henderson Jr. is gone. Kobe Prentice gone.
Yep.
Caleb Odom? Yeah, he's leaving too to Ole Miss. So a lot of our guys that, you know, were on the field, even though they got plenty of snaps.
And playing time.
Yeah, playing time, not many receptions, unfortunately. But they're all leaving. So we have a bunch of no-name players on the roster. Yeah. But the 2 main guys that we still have were Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard.
Yep.
So Mbakwe, he really might see some serious playing time on offense. So
wouldn't surprise me at all.
Like, if he can get it done, then that's awesome.
If he can get it done, he might be up for the Heisman next year.
Yeah, no doubt. So if he's trying to do that Travis Hunter role, then more power to him.
Yeah.
Hope he can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was big. But yeah, let's run down that list of all the players.
Yeah, so more leaving than coming in from Alabama at this point. But this is everybody that's leaving Alabama going to other teams. I'm just going to blast through them real
Currently,
quick.
as it stands.
Yes, as of today at about 2:00.
Yeah.
You got Miles McVay, offensive tackle, going to North Carolina. Damon Payne, defensive tackle, going to Michigan. Caleb Odom, which I think would be a huge miss for Alabama. Receiver, going to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Dylan Lonergan, quarterback, going to Boston College, and I feel like he's going to thrive.
Yeah, I do
there
too.
with Bill O'Brien being the head coach.
I mean, we haven't seen much
Might be
of
dangerous.
him, but just like seeing what he did in high school and the spring
Big recruit.
games, really big recruit. Spring games, and then
What was that? Big what?
big recruit.
Regroup. Look, y'all get me on my talking screw ups. If I can hear it, I'm calling you.
We can hit the replay anytime you want to. And I can promise you. it
What,
says
from rivalry weekend?
No, from when I said recruit. I don't have word mispronunciations like you do. No.
I heard it too.
Thank you. Yes.
I said
heard it too.
recruit.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see.
Do y'all want to put money on it?
Yes.
I'm a gambling man.
Okay. How much y'all feel like losing today?
I got 25.
Okay,
take 20.
bet. All right. I can't wait to make some money on this one. Anyways, but yeah, so big time recruit, did well in high school. In the spring games, he did well. For the few times he got in, he did well. So yeah, I mean, thank goodness we have some really good backups still. Would have liked to see him develop.
Oh, quarterback wise, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he'll go to Boston College and be really good for them. Going through the list, we still got Naquil Bertrand, offensive tackle, going to Syracuse. Yeah. Kobe Prentice, another loss for Alabama. Wide receiver will be going to Baylor. Jaheim Otis, big body defensive lineman, going to Colorado. Is Prime still going to coach there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
think.
think.
Is he sticking around? I don't think I've seen
anywhere.
any rumors about him potentially leaving.
Not at all. I mean, with him getting
from any reliable resources,
one of the best quarterbacks coming out of high school.
This is true.
Yeah.
Who actually he lost in the state championship game, had 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you his name, but from Carrollton, Georgia.
Devontae Smith now.
Devontae Smith. I think that's a really big loss.
I can't.
It is.
Dude, what?
Yeah,
What are you
safety
doing, bro?
going to Notre Dame.
What are you doing?
With Malachi Moore leaving, Devontae Smith was going to slide right into that role. So, yeah, I feel like that's a huge loss for Alabama.
I can't believe we're letting him get away, to be honest.
Yep. Emmanuel Henderson Jr., he was a freshman at Bama this year. He is transferring, still undecided, but he is currently in the portal, which means he could still
come back.
He could still come back.
Am I crazy? I thought he was one of the guys that came from Washington. Am I wrong on that?
Mm-mm.
He's not?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, he was, I want to say he was a true freshman this year.
I really thought he'd come from Washington as well.
Yep. Jaleel Hurley, a cornerback, leaving, going to Kansas. Justice Haynes, who was a factor for Alabama, but not big enough, more than what we wanted to see. He's undecided, so there's still a chance that he could come back. Jem Miller.
Yeah, say Jem Miller.
Jem Miller said last night or yesterday during a press conference, live post-practice conference.
Say it slow with us.
Live post-practice
conference. Yeah.
Press conference. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Post-practice press conference.
Just say a
boom. Shut
press
up.
Conference.
I nailed it.
He
will be coming back to Alabama, which is absolutely huge because we still don't know. Obviously, Jalen Milroe is not transferring. That's been confirmed. I don't think he ever was, but it's down to, is he going to come back and play his senior year, or is he going to go to the draft? So there's that. And Ty Simpson, I feel like if there was any doubt in Jalen Milroe's future, Ty Simpson would have already been in the portal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't know what's happening there.
I think he's going to the draft.
I mean, I don't know why he would come back.
Right.
Personally, I mean, I guess you have some draft stock to raise.
I think he's a first round pick.
I mean, but he's a freak athlete. I don't know why he would come back. Personally, you've went from everybody loved you to all people do was question you. If you come back next year and for some reason they decide to do what they did in the South Florida game 2 years ago,
he's going to be the most hated. Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at a Lagway situation, an Arch Manning situation.
Yes.
We don't have a prodigy behind, but I mean, if I'm him, I don't know why I come back. I go ahead, take my draft, work my way up, and make it to where I can make it.
Be like you could fall into the Michael Penix situation.
Yeah.
From Washington. He's finally getting the start. He's going to start for the Falcons for the rest of the year. But yeah, I think Milroe should go. I liked Milroe at Bama. When he was on, he was so much fun to watch.
I like Milroe at Bama. I just liked him when we handed the ball off a lot more.
Yeah.
When he did run way too much.
When we went on, like when we were under Saban, I hate to go back to that, but like I never thought I'd say that I blamed our running backs for getting in the portal, but like from Alabama, like we are RBU.
Yes.
But if you're a running back, if you are Jam Miller or Justice Haynes, why come back? I mean, you got a mediocre amount of touches compared to what you would have
anywhere else.
The previous year. You're a two-headed monster.
And they're stud running backs. Like that's what eats me up is that how underutilized they were.
Yeah, and going off of that, so with Justice Haynes potentially still transferring, you got Richard Young, who was a true freshman this past year. You got him and Jam Miller sharing carries for next season.
I didn't until we found out yesterday about Jam Miller. I don't think I realized that he was also in the portal along with Justice Haynes. I thought it was just Justice Haynes. That kind of blew my mind.
He wasn't. Jam wasn't in the portal.
Oh, he just announced that he was coming back for another year.
Yeah, because the question was asked, "Where's your future? Like, where do you think?" He goes, "Oh no, I'm staying."
I misunderstood. Okay, yeah. I understand now.
Yeah,
a lot of these guys do hit the portal too, and it's really not to go anywhere else.
It's just to see what they can get.
It's really like a bag grab in a sorts, but it's not like they're only staying for multi-millions of dollars. But like if you got your freshman running back, they don't get as many touches, making more in NIL money. I mean, you're going to try to hit the portal. And mainly that's just for a leverage bargain chip to bring you back.
And for a lot of teams, like for Justice Haynes' case, like they see a running back from Alabama hitting the portal.
Yeah.
It's an auction house for him right now.
Yeah.
I believe. So Keanu Coate, we mentioned in the last episode, he was released late in the season. He committed to Vanderbilt. Hunter Osborne, defensive tackle. He is currently undecided.
Is he the one with Dilbert?
Yes. Sitting
allegedly. What a situation.
Allegedly sending pictures to Coach DeBoer's daughter.
It came out that it was due to him like speeding and some other crap too. Though,
sure it was.
Well, and then Kendrick Law, he was confirmed later this afternoon that he is committing to Kentucky. That is money.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to go play for Mark Poops?
That is all money.
Can't blame the kid, though.
All right, now who we got coming in?
Coming in, for sure, we have Cameron Calhoun, quarterback from Utah.
Corner,
DB. And then Kelby Collins, defensive tackle from the University of Florida.
Yeah,
that's a big pickup.
He's a versatile defensive tackle.
That's a good body.
I thought he was an edge.
That's what I'm saying, versatile.
Okay.
He will be moved around.
Yeah, I thought he was strictly edge.
That's one thing about Florida's team.
He's a lean dude. I mean, he's. I don't think did he play defensive tackle? Are you sure? Because I saw a lot of.
He's edge, yes, but he's versatile. Because I've seen a lot of things were saying this guy's huge because he can play.
So why'd you have him listed as a defensive tackle?
I just put him in defensive tackle. I know it says edge. Okay, he's edge from Florida.
Okay,
there, but he is versatile.
Yeah, I would say if he's versatile as an edge, we could see him as a linebacker opposed to a defensive tackle.
Well, you know how many times Alabama's defense, they'll walk down a linebacker. Yeah. He can drop back and cover. That's the thing with being versatile.
I know, but that's not a defensive tackle.
No, stop. He can play defensive tackle. That's not his primary position. I know what you're saying. That's not his primary.
He's not fat enough to play defensive tackle.
You don't always have to be fat to be defensive tackle.
He's not big enough to be defensive tackle.
We'll see. And then one of the biggest predictions that Bama could land for this portal is Isaiah Horton, receiver from Miami. He will be visiting Alabama this weekend.
Yeah.
He was Miami's leading receiver this past season. So if they can land him, that'll be a huge hole filled with obviously Jeremy Bernard coming back and Ryan Williams coming back. Huge.
What's his size?
I don't think he's as huge, but he's It was a good target. You know, they had Restrepo, who seemed like to get a lot of the praise for Miami this past year. Touchdown guy.
God, he's been there forever.
But
He's 6'4", 205, so he's plenty
huge.
He's plenty big enough. It's not just because
And it's about the same size as what Caleb Odom was, too.
Yeah,
Caleb
he's
Odom's
plenty
a
big
body.
enough.
That's good.
Yeah, and he was leading receptions, maybe yards, I forgot, but touchdowns, mainly the main touchdowns went to Restrepo.
Just the most sure-handed man.
Restrepo?
Yeah,
feed that man.
That's all I would want to do is throw him the football.
Yep. Yep. So the portal. You still have 8 days. From December 28th is the last day that players can put their name in the portal hat. So you got to think a lot of these bowl games that are going early on. You got to think after those games, players will start throwing their names in a lot more. So
yeah, I somewhat agree with that, but I also think that teams are probably already very close to filling out their rosters again, and even though there might be some really good guys that potentially could enter their names once they play their bowl games, that there's not going to be the availability for them as far as like teams go because
that and these money that teams can spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot can happen in 8 days. You're probably going to see a lot more like hardcore commitments from guys. But so, Jack State just finished up their bowl game. They lost to Ohio. But there was a couple guys that put their name in the portal last night, like yesterday.
Really?
So it was like, did you travel to Orlando getting ready to play? And it's like, you know what? I'm good. Or were they practice guys that didn't travel? And it's like, you know what? They don't know. They just hired, I forgot to put it on here. They just hired their new head coach.
Who coached the game today?
Their offensive coordinator.
Okay. That's sorry, Rich Rod. Like he should have.
Brian Smith. Ooh. Rich
Rod should have finished it out, man. You took the team this far.
I agree, but you can't blame the man for a big D1 head coaching job position coming up, and that's where he started his career at, correct?
Yeah. I don't think he started there,
but I know that he did coach there.
Yeah, he was there for.
He was at Michigan and then
good years of West Virginia.
Then, he was going to coach at Alabama, turn it down, went to West Virginia.
So no, they hired Auburn's co-defensive coordinator to be Jack State's new head coach. That was confirmed during the bowl game.
JSU doesn't like winning.
I was about to say, I can see why they lost today.
It's tough. It was ugly early. It's like, okay, well, that runs over. They put up a fight to end it, but they
30-27
inevitably lost. 30-27 to the Ohio Bobcats.
I got a problem with the transfer portals.
The trans portal.
Yes, same thing.
Well,
I have a problem with it as far as that goes because of the timing. Because you look at the backup quarterback for Penn State. He doesn't want to leave right now. But if his team wins one game, he doesn't see the portal until the spring, and most coaches want you in there during the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it should be done, the way that I've always felt it should be done, is you have a certain amount of time after your season ends.
Yeah. Oh, so there's still another portal window.
I know, but so you have also the portal ends at March, April, whenever that is.
Okay, I forgot
but
about
like
that.
a lot of your coaches want you to be there for spring,
right,
to get you reps to be in game come fall.
Right.
But like there's got to be some kind of something's got to go on to where you have a time period after your season ends. That's when the bowl clock starts. You can still have the portal window for most of your teams that when their season ends, it's just kind of mass exodus.
Mm-hmm.
But you got teams like Penn State. What about these cats from Georgia, Texas?
Yeah.
When you open up the portal window, they have to leave now because odds of Texas being done after this weekend and not playing Arizona State. What's the chances of them having a chance to transfer before the spring portal?
Yeah, so looking through all the transfer, you have a handful of players from these teams that have already entered. Now, those are probably practice guys, scout team guys that aren't really playing a lot. But yeah, you make a great point. After these teams, whoever loses this weekend from these matchups going on, you're going to have another 50 to 100 more players enter this weekend from these teams.
See, it's really hard too because classes will start again probably around a week or so before the national championship, right?
Right, yeah.
So it's like if my team makes the national championship, but I'm not a starter or I don't like my situation,
Role guy.
and I want to hit the portal, but I want to stay with the team through the championship, it's like, well, I have to be enrolled at my new school before then.
But can you not be enrolled and then start classes like?
But how do you? But you want to let's say you're on Texas, but you know you're going to transfer, and you can't do this winter transfer. But I don't know. It's like it's hard. Or like let's say
it's a good point you bring up. I understand where you're going there.
It's like how do you stay with the team, but then you're joining a new team, but you want to stay on your current team?
But see, that's out of the football team's hands. That's out of the head coach's hands, because all they have to do is go to the academic office and say, "Hey, I want my transcripts gone." Like I'm trying to send them.
No, I know that, but it's like, but how are you allowed? Like, how do they stay on the team versus going to the?
I get that.
Yeah, like
I mean, I can understand where like the problems arise. And like we were talking about, what is January 20th?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I'm assuming college starts back mid 15th ish.
Yeah, like
sometime in that range. So like I understand what you're saying, and that is a tough part to navigate for. But like the fact that you got people on these teams that will miss out on an entire like spring of practicing for the new team.
Right.
When you got people like, you hear rumors of Quinn Ewers coming back, right? If he didn't go to the draft, he's got to go somewhere else.
No,
he misses the portal window.
I think I think that for one, we need the national championship and everything needs to be done by December. The end of December is when it needs to be done. Well, hear me out why. And then I think all transfers, portals, draft eligibility, yada, yada, it all needs to be done by the end of December as well.
So if you want to transfer, you got to have it done by the national championship game.
Yeah.
I mean, the NCAA's got to have some kind of exceptions for
that way.
There's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed with the transfer.
I just didn't agree with that part of having that window, and the way, like you were talking about, it needs to finish up sooner. The way it's set up, I mean, you play one round. Like, I mean, what? Look at Texas. Look at our, Arizona State. If you want to transfer out of Arizona State, you don't get to play until the transfer portal, until the portal's closed.
Yeah.
And then by the time, like, you get a chance to play, you're playing Clemson or Texas. Odds you win in that game is not great.
Right.
And you have nowhere to go. Like, you're stuck here for another semester. I just think there's got to be something done about that. But to your point, finishing the season earlier is about the only thing I can think of.
Just have everything wrapped up by the end of the year.
Yeah.
That way that the kid, really probably a week before the end of the year. That way, to further prove your point, is that way they can be in school at their new school by the time new classes start.
And have the national championship game on Saturday.
Yes, for the love. For the past however many years.
I know why they don't. It's because the NFL, the last few weeks of the season, or when the playoffs start for the NFL, start doing it on Saturdays as well. And why they do that, I don't know.
There's an NFL game tomorrow during the middle of the day.
They don't want to compete against that.
I get it, but come on.
No, I agree. It should
Super
be
Bowl
the
II,
biggest game, and especially after a 12-team playoff, like that's the biggest game of the year for college football, and it's Monday night at 7 o'clock.
Well, you go to this playoff, I mean, you're trying to compete with the NFL in some sorts because you're going deeper into where their playoffs start.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're trying to compete at some point, but please, can we just commission the Natty on a Saturday?
Yeah. The main
I think we
thing
should get rid of a regular season game and then skip this daggum 2-week period between the first rounds and then the next. Bring that up to a week and
just have them play every weekend.
Yeah.
I just think that's because of Christmas. I think that's the
I'm
only
sure it
reason,
is.
but
Sorry about it. I'd play.
Don't make the playoff.
I'd play on Christmas. If I
I
you
would
know what I'm
too.
saying?
But you're really competing with the NFL there, trying to play on Christmas.
Well, NBA too, and that's when you get a lot of their viewers. But one thing, we'll go back to the portal real
NBA's
quick.
down 50% in viewership, so I don't know. You might be better off.
Yeah. One thing I'll say to wrap up the NIL and portal stuff, and we've said it for a couple weeks now, that obviously it needs to be fixed. But the main thing that needs to come back is you transfer, you sit out a year.
There's just got to be a limit on transfers.
There's
willy-nilly.
You talking about per team?
Well, I mean, per individual, outside of
individuals.
coaches leaving, outside of like major events, Like, there's got to be a limit, like, of transfers. You can't just go play for 4 different teams for 4 different years and just go, like, bounce around.
The kid that's coming from Utah, Cameron Calhoun, Bama will be his 3rd team in 3 years.
That's crazy.
And if you don't fit your first 2,
Monster needs
Look in the mirror.
either you're not paying attention to something or, like, you're not going to fit at Alabama. Like, we'll see you next year.
Yeah.
And then I just don't understand. There's got to be
money
something in
chasing
place.
at that point. It's like, okay, yeah, you're a DB. Bama prides themselves in the past. You know, Nick Saban coached DBs. That was his position. But, like, it's a huge position for Alabama. And it's your 3rd team. So, for one, you got commitment issues. You're money chasing. It's like, look, we love you already. You came to Bama. Welcome to Alabama. But it's like, okay, let's say you don't see the field that much. Like, there's none of that. You know, we've said it. There's none of that buying your time. And Tyler Booker made a fantastic point the other day. He was interviewed, and it's like there's no. And I'm rough drafting this, so please don't hold me to anything I'm about to say. But I'm rough drafting what he said. But it's like sit and wait. Like, buy your time. Like, enjoy the time that you're here because you're going to get better. You're at Alabama.
Yeah.
Like, there's still a very high standard when you play at Alabama. So it's like you don't see any of that anymore. Ty Simpson, you know, regardless of what happens to Jalen Milroe, I think he's going to the draft. If he was going to transfer, he would have done it already, or he wouldn't have been practicing, getting ready for Michigan. So it's Ty Simpson's team. He's sitting and waiting for his opportunity.
Good on him.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's other.
It's what all the other, I mean, your A.J. McCarron, your Greg McElroy's, your Tua even.
Well, I'm just saying, like in this day and age with the transfers.
No, I know.
Just because you sit does not mean that, like, a Cam Ward shouldn't come in and play. Like, I'd have played Cam Ward almost anybody in the country.
I agree with that 100%.
But, like, I agree. I mean, that's where your teammates and your bond really come together and you play as a football team, is when your starter has been there.
Yeah.
Year after year, ups and downs.
But that's why I know I said it last episode, is like with Tyler Booker and Jalen Milroe and Malachi Moore being your spokesman for Alabama after Saban left, it's like, hey, we got a culture here. It's like having those guys stay and keep a lot of other guys was a huge turning point for how Bama's going to be, you know, going forward. It's like that culture will rub off on the younger generation and will just build and build, because I don't know if y'all saw that Greg Burns sent out a
I did.
cry for help, and that went against, I think, what he was looking for. Because looking at it from the outside, like that looked very bad.
Yeah.
That looked like a cry for help, begging for money so we can pay for these players.
He announced that like 800 or 900 people, new members or however you want to word it for that. Yeah, Alabama had enrolled in the program to help support the NIL. So I guess it worked.
Yeah, it worked, but
it looks bad.
That looked very
bad. It makes us look like
we can't compete.
Yeah,
money wise.
Yeah, it really.
We got to be behind the ball on the NIL.
I think we're 7th.
I'm not saying that we can't afford it, but like we had a Saban factor that allowed us to get all these high caliber players at major discounts because they knew they were going to the next level.
On the NIL money list, I think Bama's 7th in the country. So it's a really good spot compared. And when I say 7th, that only means like we're maybe $5 million lower than who's at the top. So there's not a big gap.
I think in the draft class that are coming in, I think like out of the top 15 like draft classes, I believe we got the highest NIL money going out of the top 15 draft classes.
Yeah. So yeah, the NIL needs a lot of work and tweaking. We're rooting for Nick Saban to become the next NCAA commissioner, where he will tie a knot in a lot of this controversy.
Knowing him, he'd probably get rid of it.
Just go back to the old ways.
Yeah, he'd shut it down.
I can tell you SMU wouldn't be in a playoff this year.
And that's a great transition to what we're going to talk about next. About fixing things, and that is the college football playoff that's starting tonight, Friday, December 20th. We have Indiana and Notre Dame snow game.
I hope so.
It's been snowing there the past 2 days.
I mean, you know, but like I hope it's just a full-on blizzard. Like that.
Disadvantage SMU.
Like that Steelers and Browns game you expect.
It gets cold in Dallas, where SMU is. It snows, but it's
Yeah.
Got to be different.
I mean, what weather they've been looking at? 65, 68 highs the last month.
Couple weeks,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they're about to walk into a place that
13 wind chill. Yeah. Snow.
Just briefly, so before I came in here, it was 40 degrees on the radar, but it felt like 22, I believe is what it said.
Here
Yeah.
in Alabama?
Yeah.
Huntsville?
Yeah. That's wild.
that is going to cause problems.
And
Though
it sucks.
when SMU goes up to Penn State, like that's going to cause problems for the way they play. But I mean, this Indiana Notre Dame
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Indiana's used to that.
They're in the same.
Yeah, Indiana's-
I mean, this is the battle of Indiana. Like this is big brother versus little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, Indiana. Yeah, they're both very. I mean, heck, Indiana's last game they played in the snow against Purdue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're both built for
Yeah,
it.
weather-wise, this game will be fine. They're accustomed to it or they're used to it. It shouldn't – it may change the game plan a little bit.
This game does match up better for Notre Dame. The way with the weather, having to run the ball and the body size, this game does match up better for Notre Dame.
Yep. So while we're on the playoffs, we're going to go ahead and get into our predictions. We all made predictions of each round, each game, each matchup going all the way to the national championship game. It will probably shake up a lot as the rounds go. As far as like what we got, because I think we each three got 3 different winners.
Yeah, on the bottom half of the bracket. Yeah, we all three
I
have
think-
different.
Yeah, the bottom half of the bracket, because I know we said it last episode, like those bottom 4 teams with SMU, Penn State, Indiana, Notre Dame, like those teams competition-wise, we really don't know how they are. We probably have a better idea of who Penn State is after, playing against Oregon and putting up all the points that they did. But the other 3 teams, it's like it's almost a coin flip at this point.
Well, we've seen Notre Dame against a really good in Kyle Field Texas A&M team.
Yeah,
First game of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago, but like the way that game was played was both of them played their best football, and Notre Dame won that football game. It wasn't given away.
Yep.
all right. So let's go through your list, Kolton,
Go through it. So y'all want me to go ahead and go
all the way through.
I got scores on. I know you guys didn't write down scores, but
Sure.
Go ahead.
so I'll do matchups.
You can do I'll
just
talk
do-
scores with
yeah,
you.
just
You can
do
talk
it.
'em.
All right, so the first game for tonight, Indiana at Notre Dame. I have Notre Dame winning 27-10.
Okay.
I'm a little.
Is that too many points overall?
No.
Okay.
No, I took Notre Dame to win this football game, but I waited until it got down to 7. I bought it to 6.5. I think there's a world where this game is a very close game, and I wanted the 7 spread to play with. I didn't like 7.5.
So you think this game's going to come down to who can run the ball effective?
I do. I think that's the big thing. Notre Dame, talking about the game, I think Notre Dame's going to win.
Yeah.
Just talking about it.
Yeah,
Indiana,
I
we
definitely
talked
think-
about this. Indiana's a prove it to me football team,
Yes.
and this
We
is a
have
big boy.
Zero clue who
This is
they
a big
are.
boy that they have to prove it to me against. And if they don't, I mean, if this doesn't wind up like the Ohio State game, I mean, they could flat out win this football game. And I took Notre Dame to win, but maybe over 4 quarters, I can see a late touchdown making it, a 14, 17-point game.
Yeah.
But I think this game stays within 10, and I was nervous about taking it more than 7.
Okay.
Yeah. That I know I've kind of is 17 points a blowout in the playoff?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what the game looks like, but not a hard-fought game last,
it's
last
just-
2
it's-
minute touchdown.
It's Indiana, right? You're going to get a garbage touchdown
Yeah.
somewhere. It's just Indiana. We don't know. The only good game they played was against Ohio State, and they got obliterated.
Yeah, they got beat down in that game.
Yeah, so we don't. We're rooting for them.
We know nothing about it. I'm not.
Well, I say rooting for them. We want you.
We want.
There's
good
going to
football.
be an
We want good
upset
football.
somewhere. I don't think it's coming in this game.
No, Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's definitely a 2-touchdown favorite.
Yep. All right. So we've got the next game. First game tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, is SMU at Penn State. Probably going to be another snow game. And I've got Penn State winning a little closer game, 30-27.
I can see that. It depends on how fast Penn State starts, because what SMU is going to want to do is you're not going to smash the ball down Penn State's throat.
Right.
No, not at all.
So it
And they
depends
started
on,
off really slow against Clemson.
It depends on
SMU
what
did.
them weather conditions are, because airing the football out might not be a great opportunity with the weather out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, these first two games we're talking about are definitely going to be some running.
There's going to be so much white in that game tomorrow.
Snow,
bona fide whiteout tomorrow.
That would be so awesome to be a part of. Like just be in the stands. Like
It's 11
Does
o'clock
this
game.
count?
that sucks.
Not to get off topic, but does this count as their one whiteout game a year? Because they're only allowed one, technically allowed one. They have other colored games or whatever that like it's not a whiteout game.
Yeah.
But like, is this their one whiteout game they've had all year?
I don't know if they've had.
They normally have one against the Michigan.
I know,
They
but
didn't do it against Ohio State.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And so they waited all year for this game for the first round of the playoff because they wanted a home game, and they waited all year for the whiteout.
So that's a huge disadvantage for SMU.
I know that's
All that white, and if it's snowing in the morning, it's gonna be tough to.
I'm interested.
Especially for the the coaches up in the for the players on the field. Like it might be a little easier, but every single fan's going to be in there wearing white.
Yeah, okay, but honestly, it might be a disadvantage to Penn State as well. Though you imagine on offense, though, trying to find one of your receivers, down
That's a
the
good
field
point, too.
for the
Yeah.
couple of throws they might attempt to make.
I mean, if it snows like that, I could see it, but like they're ready for that game.
Yeah,
I mean, like Penn State.
Penn State can afford to run the ball the entire game and be okay.
yeah.
If it's optimal weather conditions, I see this game being a field goal, late score, maybe to pull away, maybe to make it a 10-point game with under 2 minutes left in the game.
Okay.
Or I can see in like tough weather, I can see Penn State running the football and absolutely running away with this game and it being a 17, 21-point dog.
Yeah. Just a blowout.
I ultimately think Penn State's going to run away with this game.
Yeah, so we all three got Penn State winning that
I just
game.
think the only way is optimal weather conditions for SMU's offense to get going. I think that's really the only chance they have to keep this close and make it interesting at the end.
Yeah. All right, so we all three got Penn State winning that one.
Yep.
Okay. All right, then the afternoon game, we got Clemson at Texas. I have Texas winning 35-31.
I really
Offensive shootout.
I don't believe that it's going to be that close. I really don't. I think Texas is, regardless of who's at quarterback.
This will be the third best team they've played this year.
Yeah.
Well, second best team, but game wise,
I don't see Clemson doing it. I don't see them keeping it close. Maybe they will, but I mean, their best win was obviously just the other week against SMU, and
yeah.
even that came down to the wire. Obviously, I think we all can agree
all three
that
think
they did that
pull
intentionally.
back on the reins.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but I know we haven't seen great evidence of Texas. I mean, we have in a sense, but against lesser teams, and when the only hard games they've played this year have been against Georgia twice.
And one of them was against a backup quarterback in the second half.
Yeah, and that game ended up being close.
Yep.
But I do think Texas will win handedly.
Yeah, I think Texas. The score may be a little bit dramatic, but I think Texas wins either way.
I took the under. My max that Texas is going to score in this game. Now, y'all got to remember, this is still a Dabo defense.
Right.
Like, Clemson is a solid defense, and the way their offense has rolled as of late, I mean, look the way they played South Carolina, who was one of the hottest teams in the country. To lose that game in that fashion, their offense has got going at times, and it's not this ain't the Georgia offense when they played Georgia game 1.
Right.
I just don't know if Texas is too good to let them score as much as they want. I have Clemson under 14. My max that I think Texas is able to score, now I can't predict interceptions and pick sixes and all that, is 35 on the offensive side. I took the under. I think this is going to be like a 21, 24, 17 game. Texas wins. I don't think this is going to be a big.
So you
Texas
think it's a close
runoff.
game, but not as high scoring?
Yeah, I could see like a 27.
Hey, I don't even know if it's going to be a close game. I mean, Clemson could score 10 in this game.
Right.
I just don't think that Clemson's going to score enough, and that would mean Texas has to score all the points.
Yeah.
And I don't see them scoring 45 in this game.
Yeah.
Like I said, max, their best, everybody comes out in their A game on offense. I think 35 is their limit.
Yeah. Okay.
So if they can get to 25, 28, I think this game's kind of wrote in stone.
Yeah. All right. So we all got Texas winning that one?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Then the nightcap of the game, which is the best game of the weekend, is Tennessee at Ohio State. I have Tennessee winning 28-24. First upset of the playoffs.
You have a bunch of close scored games.
The first round, yeah.
I think
Actually, yeah, just about every game.
I think this game is.
I don't think Tennessee has the offense. I don't think Nico Lamaliva.
Iamaliava.
Is that what we're going with now?
I don't think it's concrete. Unless he tells me what his last name is, I don't believe what anybody else says.
No, I'm saying though, but I've heard you pronounce it differently before.
Iamaliava.
I just go Nico.
I thought you called him like Lamaliva or something before. Amaliva.
I'm a believer.
Yeah.
I was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I don't running game. We've talked about this. We do think running
Pre-pro.
game. We think the running game is going to be the difference maker, especially for Tennessee.
Yep.
But I think they're going to be hemmed up with passing.
It could be another snow game.
And
Horseshoe.
Man, it sure could.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that Ohio State is honestly, I would like to see Tennessee win. And I don't think Ohio State is a good team whatsoever. But with it being at home, in the cold, and them actually, they have a really good quarterback.
Yeah.
And they have good.
Will Howard.
Ohio State, wow.
I think that's my biggest question mark on their whole football team is their quarterback.
Oh, not for me. I think he's really good.
That's my biggest worry is what will Howard do.
He's like top 3 in the nation in all passing categories.
When you got that's like having Waddle, Smith, and all them throwing to throw to. I mean, when you got it like that, and then you got a two-headed monster in the backfield.
I understand.
Henderson and Judkins, you get to hand the ball off to.
Yep.
I understand, but I think Ohio State's gonna run away with this one.
So KJ said it before we went on. If Nico can hit a couple of deep balls, because he's got a crazy strong arm, can throw it out of the stadium. If he can hit a couple of those deep balls early to kind of open up Ohio State a little bit, and then they can feed Dylan Sampson.
Away from Caleb Downs.
Yeah, don't throw it to
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. Keep it away.
Yeah, this will be a fantastic game. I hope it is just an all-out heavyweight bout.
Just back and forth, come down to the wire.
Yeah, and I have, like I said, I had Tennessee winning that one 28-24.
I don't think Tennessee's offense is what I'm worried about here. I don't think they're as high-powered when they're not playing Ball State.
Yeah.
But if their defense can step up like they have all year, I think this game stays close. Yeah. I think they got a run game, and I think that they have some receivers that can make some plays and that can, they score a couple of touchdowns. I took the over in this game, and I don't like it. I took it because it was under like 46. I took the over, 2 touchdowns each. We're sitting right there.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State wins this game, but I don't think it's a runaway. I think Tennessee's defense is the reason they're in this game. Yeah. Their offense just has to hit 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And I think their defense keeps this game.
The defense for Tennessee, the defense has revolved around that defensive line and putting pressure on quarterbacks.
But Tennessee
Will Howard's not much of a scrambler. I mean, he's a pocket guy. He's trying.
He's got some legs on him though. He can move.
He can if he needs to.
Yeah.
But he it's.
If I'm Tennessee, Will Howard has to beat me, and I'm not talking about with Jeremiah Smith and Ibuka over the top deep ball. I'm not talking about where they blow past me on the defensive side. He has to hit them nice routes on the outside. He has to hit the pretty corners, throw the comebacks.
Yeah.
He has to beat me because to me, I think he's the biggest question mark on this team. Outside of the offensive line right now, but that's another thing where I think Tennessee's defense really makes an impact is
just wear him out.
You're going to put this on Will Howard.
Yeah.
Because you're not running between the tackles. I don't think Ohio State's going to run between the tackles. Without that O-line and Tennessee's defense, I think this game goes on Will Howard's shoulders, and I'm taking him to win. I think they can make it happen, but I think he's my biggest question mark.
I'm really surprised to hear you say that.
I got Ohio State.
Yeah.
Don't let it come down to a close game, final drive of the game, and you need him to make a smart play because that's what hosed them in the Oregon game.
I took the over in this game. I didn't take a side.
Yeah.
Show me where the money is.
Yeah.
Right, so that's going to lead us into the next round.
The second round, yes, sir. So I've got Notre Dame, Georgia. I didn't put down the bowl games, but this will be a bowl game. Notre Dame, Georgia. I've got Georgia winning 24-14. Georgia will be missing Carson Beck for whoever Georgia plays with that second round matchup.
Yeah.
Confirmed today.
Yep. So just run through the whole list since we aren't confirmed on obviously who's going to play.
Yeah.
So just do your predictions.
For me, I've got Notre Dame and Georgia. Georgia winning that one. My second game for the second round will be Penn State against Boise State. I have Boise State pulling off an upset, a close upset. Then Texas, Arizona State. I have Arizona State winning that one. Very close. I sound like Lee Corso now. Very close. And then Tennessee and Oregon. I've got Oregon winning that one.
Okay. So for my second, so I'm just going to go through my winners of the first round. So I'm taking Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State, and Texas. And then jumping into that second round, I'm taking, so it'd be Texas, ASU. I'm taking Texas. Then we'd have OSU or Ohio State, Oregon. I'm taking Oregon. Then we'd have Penn State versus Boise State. I, too, am taking Boise State. I'm big on them and Ashton Jeanty, the real Heisman winner.
That's right.
And then we got Notre Dame and Georgia, and I'm also taking Georgia. What you got, KJ?
Jeanty is America's Heisman.
Yeah, you're daggum right.
He's America's Heisman.
He probably votes for Trump.
I think America's Heisman gets bounced their first game.
What you got, KJ?
I think they get bounced their first game.
Who's that?
America's Heisman. So obviously I took Notre Dame got Notre Dame, Georgia. I think that game's going to be a really good game. The fact that you're without Carson Beck, I understand Gunnar Stockton come in and played well against Texas. I'm nervous about that game. I took Notre Dame because I think it's a pick 'em. I think that's what
You've already made a pick on that game?
No, that's what I'm doing right
okay.
here. I think it's going to be a pick 'em. I don't think it's going to be any kind of real favor. No, it's not at home for either one of them.
Right.
I think this is going to come down to a pick 'em, a 1-point spread. And I'm taking Notre Dame just because of the uncertainty of Georgia.
Right.
If Georgia wins that game, I'm taking Georgia all the way. But I'm taking Notre Dame because of the uncertainty, and I think that Notre Dame is a little bit underrated. I guess we'll find out after tonight.
Yeah.
Between I got Penn State, Boise State. I think Penn State's going to win that football game. I think what they do well is take care of the run. And I think that's one of the main things that Jeanty really provides. Watching him in their conference championship game, that man's shifty. He's shifty. He's not very big. He's not going to be able to run over some of these guys, but these guys got to be able to get their hands on him. He's shifty.
Gang tackle.
He's shifty, but I do think Penn State is going to overcome them just because I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of points scored in that game either. I took OSU. That means they're playing Oregon. Give me Ohio State, baby. That roster is so loaded. If that offensive line does not hurt them that much, I think OSU is one of the best teams.
They'll be whoever comes out of the Tennessee Ohio State game will be the most groomed team going forward in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
With that being said, I mean, I took Texas over Arizona State. Pretty obvious reasons. I rode them all year. Bo is my boy, man, let me tell you. But what Texas does well is stop the run. They're a big SEC run defense. Arizona State's a run offense.
Yeah.
If Bo gets going, good luck to anybody against him.
Right.
That's one of the best teams in the country when he's running.
If Arizona State can throw it enough to keep
Spread it out and
to keep Texas honest, let Bo eat.
So the next round you got Texas, Ohio State. I took Texas.
Okay.
I just think Texas.
We've got completely different Final Fours.
That's what I was thinking.
Keep going.
I got Texas over Ohio State in the semi, and then I got Notre Dame over Penn State in the semi. So I have Texas Notre Dame matchup. I need Ohio State Notre Dame. That's what I need.
For your pockets.
Yes,
Yeah.
but realistically, I got Texas Notre Dame, and if Georgia wins that football game, it's going to be Georgia Texas. It's going to be a rematch for me.
Yeah.
So for my semis, I've got Texas, Oregon, and I've got Texas. And then I've got Boise State, Georgia, and I'm taking Boise State, boys. Hear me out. I'm leaning on that man. He's a god behind that line. He's running all over everybody.
America's Heisman?
Yep. He's doing.
Georgia's been gettable this year.
He's going to freaking gash. All right. He's taking them all the way to the championship.
That's one outside of Texas. Georgia's been gettable this year in big games.
Yeah.
So you got Boise State and the Natty. Who's on the other side? You said.
I got Texas and Boise State in the national championship.
Okay. Well, we've got all different Final Fours, and
I mean,
That's awesome.
if it wasn't for Arizona State, would yours not have been Texas too? Would you not have taken Texas all the way?
Yeah, probably. So yeah, my Final Four, I've got Arizona State playing Oregon, and I have Boise State playing Georgia. And I'm kind of on the board with you. It's like if Georgia can get past their first game, which would be the quarterfinals, I think Georgia's in. So yeah, I got Oregon and Georgia in the national championship, with Oregon being the first undefeated team. Well, for the 12-team playoff. Yeah. Going all the way.
I don't know if we'll see an undefeated team next year going through this. They may, if they go all the way, I mean, they may be one of the only ones in the next few years that go undefeated and win this thing.
And if Oregon can
I think
finish
changes with the playoff.
If Oregon can go undefeated, they obviously went through undefeated in the regular season. If they go undefeated in the playoff, that's them getting by either Tennessee and Ohio State in their first game in the playoff. And that's another, game too. It's like if Oregon can get past one of those teams that have nothing but confidence coming out of that game with Tennessee and Ohio State, if Oregon get past that round, I do think it's – now obviously it –
All right, I got a question for y'all. Outside of
madness.
who we've all think is going to make it, looking at the teams all available for the national championship, what would be the best matchup, the most fun football game to watch out of any of these teams?
Arizona State, Boise State. Give me the running backs.
I mean,
let's be realistic.
Realistically,
Realistic?
Yeah, but
Oh, okay.
yes, that'd be a fun football game to watch just
I
for the
agree,
small
but-
boys. But
Yeah. No, but for real though, like who
Best teams?
Yeah, not best teams, like the most fun to watch that would give us the most bang for your buck, if you will, like the most exciting, like, good football, would you say Georgia, Oregon? Would you say, Indiana, Arizona State?
You've got so many Cinderella teams. Like Arizona
That's a
State.
tough question.
Yeah,
Arizona State-
I'm just saying, like,
Because
just,
the
just
way
for
it's
fun.
laid out. No, but because it's the way it's laid out,
Yeah.
that's a tough question.
Even though Arizona State made the top four, they got the first round bye. Arizona State's still a Cinderella team.
Yeah.
In my book. So
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got
Yes,
Arizona State.
absolutely.
As far as Cinderella teams go, I don't think Clemson makes it out of the first quarter against Texas. So you got Arizona State, SMU, Indiana, and Boise State. That's 5 teams that you can say are Cinderella teams. One of those teams you would think
Might mess around and make it.
goes.
But again, just like, that's something we've already kind of discussed. I'm just saying, like, name
Yeah.
your 2 teams who you think would be like, the optimal, most fun, as a pure fan, like which one is going to be the most exciting, down to the wire, fun football game?
That's tough, man. Because I would say Texas, Georgia if we hadn't already seen them twice.
Yeah.
I would love to say
Yeah.
that. You're gonna get. I don't think Oregon, Indiana, Oregon, Penn State. I don't want to see that.
I think
again.
Ohio State, Georgia would be kind of fun.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Like you got the best from the Big Ten. They didn't make the conference championship, but like Big Ten in history, you think Ohio State. Like that is the face of the Big Ten, and then Georgia, obviously outside of Alabama because they can't beat Bama in the big games. They're the face of the SEC.
They can
So
beat Texas though.
you got the 2 faces of the best conferences in college football.
That's kind of what I was leaning to. I think that would be the most probably exciting football game. Close, a good close football game coming down to the wire. A lot of big plays.
Yeah.
Like coaches are just going at it back and forth, like with play calling and such. And,
I mean,
And Ryan Day gets paid. He's the Ohio State coach for the next 15 years.
if I had it my way, that round 1 Tennessee Ohio State.
would be
If you meet them in a championship, I think that game would be wild.
So whoever comes out of the Tennessee Ohio State, if they make it from their side.
I'm saying if you
think-
take that game and put them on separate sides of the bracket,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
can run up, and you can play that game in the Natty.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think you would
That's
have.
the most excited game of the weekend.
we're gonna get hate from Tennessee fans, but I think you would have 2 of the most obnoxious and
Yes.
most hated.
They've been going at
and
it on
fans.
whoever
Twitter
wins
too.
national championship, I feel like should have to play the 2009 Alabama Crimson Tide.
Why does nobody give them love?
Yeah.
I always see all these other teams, but like, dude, that 09 was monsters.
Big
Julio,
time.
Mark Ingram,
Dude, they were just monsters.
Mount Cody.
Cody, Marcel Darius.
Speaking of Tennessee, Mount Cody,
Yeah. So
the block field.
Oh, yeah. I was at that game.
Break their hearts.
Blocked 2 of them that game.
Yeah.
yeah. So And then we went on to beat old Texas. Sat down Colt McCoy, and by the second drive,
Who was their backup?
Garrett Gilbert.
That a boy?
Oh, Gary
It
Gilbert.
was Gary Gilbert.
He was a
Marcel Darius
freshman.
had that 5-second spin move.
Yeah.
That scoop or the pick six that he had.
Yeah.
Was a good team.
One of my all-time favorite receivers, Jordan Shipley, number 8 for Texas.
Texas.
Yeah. I loved watching him play. Hate that he
You know what he was?
Dirty white boy.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
DWB
But
certified.
Yeah, he went on to the Bengals and had quite a few concussions and really never got to do much, but one of the best.
Colt McCoy's still in the league too, ain't he?
No,
He's
he retired early.
He is retired?
A couple months ago and officially announced his retirement.
I'll tell you a game I'd like to see, though. I'd like to see that SMU Indiana game.
What are we talking about? You know what I would like to see? You know what I'd like to see?
For the Final Four?
I'd just
listen,
like to see
shut
that
up.
football game.
You know what I'd like to see?
I bet it ain't a lamb.
I bet you it is.
I bet it ain't lamb.
I bet I'd like to. So
no.
everyone, here we go.
Here we
Okay,
go.
this is what the podcast is really about tonight. I've been waiting on this. As fun as this playoff talk is, the only thing that's been on my mind this whole time is about what we went through last night. We went to a little place called Texas de Brazil,
At Cap Sports, we had our little Christmas end of the year kind of dinner thing.
and it was crazy fun. Okay, it
was good.
So first we did a little pregame at this place called, I can't remember, but it's
Agave and Rye.
but we call it Epic Taco.
Yeah.
So we did some pregame in there and had ourselves a little fun. You know, me and KJ met up there first, and then Colton, sauntered in and sat down and started just eating and drinking everything in sight. And we had a little fun with him though. Okay, so he got himself a phone call from Mama, and that definitely took over his life there because when Mama calls, he answers.
That's right.
And respect. But at one point though, because we know Colton's not very aware of his surroundings whatsoever. He's not.
He was not at
He
all.
wasn't.
I
at all.
was too.
No, he wasn't. So
Because you faked a phone call
me
to
and
get off from the
KJ
bar.
just gave each other that look. Like I leaned over to KJ and I was like, "Hey, just follow me, follow my lead here." So we both just popped up out of our seats and went in opposite directions. And then we met up outside.
It was like 20 minutes.
And looked out the window, just staring and laughing at Colton as he's swiveling in his chair back and forth like a lost dog looking for us.
Ask me how many words I got out.
I saw
for
it.
like 20 minutes.
I saw it, dude. I was watching. I was like, Candy must be going in on Colton
When
about
you're on the phone,
something, bro.
When you're on the phone with Candy, you don't get much out.
I mean, so you were standing there just like
Love you, mama.
I was like, dude, what did he do wrong? Because you didn't say a word. But when you started just looking around, like,
Something was up.
Where did my parents
5 minutes
go?
went by. I was like, I know they ain't pooping together in
And
the
then,
bathroom.
and then we're just standing outside, dying, laughing, looking at him.
Hope y'all
like,
froze too.
No, it wasn't that bad.
I was ready to come inside.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
I
was ready to come inside.
But it was just too funny. But no, so that was a little bit of the pregame part. So then we went to Texas de Brazil though, and if you're not familiar with that, it's like a
All you can eat meat.
Lots of meat.
It's all you can eat meat.
Yep. And if there's a pro at it, Colton is the Joey Chestnuts of meat eating. Okay,
That was very impressive.
I was
Appreciate that.
So these guys, so you sit at a table and you have these little cards where you flip red green, where if you want some or not. They bypass that. Okay.
Yeah, the cards was a non-factor last night.
non-factor. They just brought us the food, and we didn't have. Well, we had.
They come by with these huge skewers that have
With the food already cooked.
meat on it. It's cooked, medium rare, at I guess the worst.
So there's a group of 5 of us though, and the rest of us outside of Colton had our say in what we were going to be, when and what we were going to be eating. But Colton over here had zero say in that. It was dictated by the rest of us because every time someone walked by, we're like, send it.
For context, we had our table reserved for 6:15. We got there right at 6:15. We sat down quick. I remember looking at the clock. Y'all were done eating by 6:45.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was tapped out after 15 minutes.
I didn't have any idea what I was eating.
Yeah.
At some point,
That was tough.
I'm
They
just chewing.
told you what they had.
Yeah,
but
and they're just slamming it
after 2
down.
minutes, you already had 3 or 4 more pieces of meat.
Like seriously, imagine just a queue of guys, of servers with all these different foods coming at you every 30 seconds.
It was
okay.
It was a very short window.
Yeah, like you did not have time to think or make a decision about what you're going to be eating. Like, you just had to say yes if you felt like you still had room in your
But when
stomach.
we sat down, I told you, I was like, this card is staying on green for as long as I can handle it.
Yeah.
Oh, we made sure of that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
It wasn't even just us.
it was
saying this.
6:45.
No.
Y'all's plates were gone.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing it out. Like, I'm feeling really good at this point. An hour goes by and I'm still
Going, y'all.
wearing it out.
We ain't talking about like nibbling, eating a couple bites. Talking about like still got a clean plate.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep up with the guys with the skewer, but there was this one guy.
Yeah. So the servers
picked up what was
realized
going
Lamb
on.
chop.
they realized
lamb
what was
chop.
going on. They saw what we were trying to do to our boy here and make sure he was well fed. And
Good for them. They picked it
Shout
up.
out to them.
They
yeah,
were so good.
Yeah, they're good sports, and
They
they
knew exactly what
really
was going on. They
hammered
walked by the
home.
table. All the plates were gone except for one. They circled our table in the kitchen.
If it
Go to
wasn't
this
for,
table.
I think Kolton would have easily tapped out in a solid 20, 30 minutes beforehand. But for one, I think he probably felt like he had something to prove. But two, those guys didn't let him tap out. Like, they wouldn't have taken his plate away if he begged. Like,
I wish we could have got that guy's name. I would have definitely gave him a shout out.
yeah.
Colton
So-
finally got the card flipped to red. My
But-
boy walked
oh,
over there, flipped it
yeah,
himself.
exactly.
Just didn't even ask. Just started cutting. Tongues.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to the point where I was trying to enjoy what was given because I had a pile of meat at this point on my plate. And I was like, let me flip the card to red too so I can catch
up.
Well, Buddy with the lamb came by after he knew what was he read the room, knew what was going on. He comes by and he's like, "You want some lamb?" I said, "It's on red." He picks down, grabs my card, flips it over green, and says,
starts-
"You want lamb?" I said, "Sure, why not?" Justin, my hands were full with a knife and fork. Justin grabs my tongs, grabs it for me, puts it on my plate. Dude leaves, goes to the table that was behind us.
Just next to it.
Immediately comes back
It starts
says,
cutting
"Want
again."
lamb?"
He flipped the card back over.
Dude, the best part though was when he did walk by the table and I was like, wait. And then he, on a dime,
Yeah.
turned right back around and it was already cutting by the time he's getting to the table.
The funny part about that, because he comes by the first time, he goes, I was like, "What part of the lamb is that?" He said, left. leg. He comes back, 5 seconds later. "Oh, what part is that?" "Right leg." Then he comes back again, and I said, "Well, what part of the lamb is that?" And Peyton, who's not here with us tonight, said, third leg. And it was the funniest thing I've
Colton
ever-
made sure to eat that bite.
Yeah, no, that was so much good food, and I'm still burping lamb and flank steak.
Yeah,
Had that one
I'm
dude
s-
come by that knew what was going on, felt bad for you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Preston wouldn't let him leave until he cut off a piece of
oh
meat
yeah,
for you.
no, I
The
made
ribs.
never
he
come
came
back.
by with the ribs.
Yeah,
I was like, I haven't had the ribs yet, and KJ's hyping them up because the ribs were fantastic. I was like, let me get a rib.
Good.
He said, no, you're getting 3.
Yeah.
And the way the
Like,
3
literally.
hit on my plate, I was like, oh my god. Dude, they had barbecue ribs and they had beef ribs. I didn't even take a
And
bite.
don't
into the
y'all
beef
think we
ribs.
didn't get video of this? So we got video. Okay.
I don't know
least
what
if-
all you guys got or at what point, because I left when I finally I was getting sick. Like I was sweating, like I was getting hot. I left.
He was red as a beet.
I left a pile of meat on that. I felt bad, but one of the guys was like, "Oh, we throw it out anyway." It's like, oh well.
I mean, I would
Whatever.
really say you probably ate about a good 7 pounds of meat last night.
I promise you took them for your money.
Yeah.
Like you got your
I was gonna
money's
get my
worth.
money's worth,
Yeah.
no doubt.
I underate. You covered me for sure.
Yeah, I covered the table, brother. We didn't have to. All we did was pay.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So when you're ready for the next round of that, because you got to one up yourself for show. You getting your
One
picture?
up.
Yeah, you're getting your picture on the
We
wall.
did ask.
Yeah.
So we did ask
Yeah.
if there
Is
was
there a wall of champions?
There used to be. I don't know however many there are around still, but at Providence there used to be a place called Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And you
Man.
could get your picture taken as a Polaroid picture, but you had to eat their burger. It
Yeah,
was
it's like it's a pounder. It was a pounder. It's called the pounder.
the pounder. Okay.
Yeah.
If you ate that, you
was
got
like
your picture taken on the
this
wall.
big.
Well, we asked our waitress, the lady that we had, is there a picture wall? Is there a certain amount of food that somebody can eat for them to have their picture taken? She goes, "Oh, we don't do that here," and they promoted it.
We
saying
tried.
that
We're doing it like,
we
I'll
tried
bring-
we tried to start it last night.
Yeah, so I'm saying we go back soon, and I'm taking my Polaroid camera.
Yeah, bring your
I'm
own.
taking your picture.
Staple it to where I
as
was
you're-
sitting on the table.
I'll make sure to take your picture as you're like hunkered over the toilet.
Here lies blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's like a tombstone.
But no, I'm just gonna pin it up somewhere on the wall, like that way it starts becoming a thing. I'm gonna make sure you have like your picture.
Because that's a
on
fancy
7
restaurant.
times.
If they would have had my face in there, that would have brought them down.
Well, my face hurt last night from laughing.
Yeah, there was some good times.
Look, I told y'all because we talked about it. Last week we needed to do it. I hadn't been. It was almost 9 years to the day since I've been. I've tried to go with my wife for our anniversaries. She could not eat that much for that price. I told her, I just got to get the boys. Like, if I can get a group of guys to go, like, we can go, hold our own. And so I was hyped up. I prepped for it. I ate a light lunch, which was all of my Fiesta bowl that was cooked at home the night before. But I was proud of myself. I felt like I honestly could not eat anymore.
Good
Like, I
on
was
you.
hurting, man.
You went farther than I ever would have.
Yeah, so I went from never eating it to eating it twice in a matter of 3 days.
Yeah, you and Peyton,
That's tough, man.
That's good for y'all. It's bad for the
Monday.
account, but
So today is Friday. We went last night, Thursday night, but the first time I read it was Monday for Peyton's, my brother's
Just
graduation.
shout out Peyton for graduating
great
college,
job.
baby.
Graduated college.
Congratulations.
Yep. Don't know what in. No, I'm just kidding. Business marketing. Y'all find him a job, all right? He's like wrangling raccoons right now.
I'm about to say,
He's wrangling raccoons.
He's the bug guy.
With that college degree.
Yeah.
Graduated from UAH.
Yep, big dog.
But no, last night was good, much needed. My stomach, it didn't need it, but I needed it from my soul needed last night. And it was a good time.
Every bite I took just sat on top of all the beer that we'd already drank.
Yeah, it did. It was
Because
floating
we
for
started
sure.
getting hungry at Epic Tacos. We're like,
Oh, yeah. I was
we
like-
tried to eat nachos. It's like, we can't ruin the main
I was ready to
course.
call. I was like, look, if I have to keep sitting here in Epitaco, I'm getting me a taco because they got one of my favorite tacos.
Yeah, I was glad I was able to change the reservation.
Yeah. If we had to wait 2 more hours, I wouldn't make it.
It'd have been tough.
Texas
We wouldn't have been down there so early if I'd set my clocks the right time.
You know what? Look, this joker right here. Okay, listen to this. We're hanging out at his apartment, and I'm looking over there at his stove and microwave. The clock's on the wall, everything, and it's all saying like 4:30. I'm like, oh man, we got to go. Like we got a couple things we got to do when we get there.
You just
But-
not change your clocks?
Yeah, it was saying 4:30.
It's for time.
And then so we were like rush out the door, get my truck, and I look at my truck's clock. It's like it's 3:30. What are we doing already? It's like, dude, all your clocks at the house say 4:30. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I do that so that my fiance gets up and gets ready and gets places because she's
Yeah,
always late.
Classic.
I was like, love it, smart man. All right, let's get going with our top 5 Christmas movies. You lead it off,
Top
Kolton.
5 Christmas movies. Yeah, because I'm sure mine are pretty basic. I'm sure y'all's are going to be more in depth.
I'm probably with you.
So
It's this man's favorite time of year.
my top 5. At 5, I got the Polar Express.
At 5,
It's
okay.
a classic.
At 5.
I got a funny story about that later, but go ahead.
At 4, I got the original Santa Claus movie. Number 3, I've got Home Alone, which is Christmas classic. You know they've got 6 Home Alone
1 and
movies.
2 were the best.
Yeah, I saw that. It came across my feed yesterday on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like all the Home Alones. I've never watched outside of the first 2.
You're not missing out much. 1 and 2 are the best.
Yeah, that's a high standard to
Yeah,
try to follow
I saw
up.
it on Disney Plus, and yeah, there's like a whole collection of them now.
So
ridiculous.
stupid. Number 2, I got How the Grinch Stole Christmas,
Animated or non-animated?
non-animated. Jim Carrey's.
Yeah,
Got you.
Yeah. The animated one's good, but it ain't.
yeah, it ain't top 5.
No. And then number 1, I have Elf, which is Will Ferrell was perfect for that role.
He was.
You'll probably be able to.
You go next. You go next.
I bet I can guess what your first one is.
You won't.
So for number 5, I have Elf. Number
Oh,
4,
wow.
I have Home Alone 1 and 2. I know how to like to pick.
You
between
can kind of
them.
put those
that's fine.
together.
did.
That's fine.
And then I got the Christmas Vacation. I've always loved to watch that movie. It's always cracked me up. Then I have the Grinch, both non and animated. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're equally good.
non's the better one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have A Christmas Story.
Never seen
I
it.
hate that movie with a passion.
So I've never seen that or Christmas Vacation.
What?
Yeah. Here we,
Oh, we don't have time for
here we go.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Honor though,
there's
I got
that.
Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah.
That's my honorable mention.
I
never
do.
seen that either.
A Christmas Story is a good movie, but I hate it because throughout my entire childhood and teen years, it played for 24 straight hours on TNT and TBS. And I'm like, obviously back then we didn't have streaming, Like there's countless other Christmas movies to play. Why are we doing pretty much technically 48 hours of the same freaking movie? It's not that
I've
good.
seen Christmas Story, but
We gotta get you watching, dude. What are you doing later tonight?
You gotta watch Christmas Vacation,
dude. Okay.
yeah, I apologize to everybody. I've never seen that movie.
Jeez, it impacted my life greatly as far as comedy goes. So 5 for me is Christmas with the Cranks. It's a great.
It is
one.
good. Yeah.
Do like
Got
that
Tim Allen.
Yeah.
4 is the Santa Claus. 3 is How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Jim Carrey. Again, that one. Jim Carrey is one of my all-time favorite actors.
Yes.
His comedy style is just top tier.
Perfect. Do you know they're talks about doing a second one?
Yeah. But he said that he'd want his body to be CGI'd.
Yeah, he said that's what the only thing that's really making him want to do a second one is because of how CGI is and all that stuff. It's 4 hours, 5 hours of like makeup.
I'm sure it's longer than that.
Yeah.
Second though is Home Alone, and then number 1 for me is National Lampoon Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
It is Christmas Eve every year for as long as
the T-shirt you're repping right
Yes,
there?
it is.
Okay.
Yeah, Chevy Chase, Jim Carrey, those are my guys. Two of the funniest people ever. Like different types of funny. I mean, really same types of funny, but like Chevy Chase though, like just his facial expressions can evoke so much emotion and just draw so much comedic reaction. It's unmatched. Like one of the funniest people of all time.
Yeah,
no doubt.
My the honorable mention for me would probably be Four Christmases.
That's pretty good
with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon.
So I had a couple of Christmas comfort movies or honorable mentions. It's the Harry Potter films and Lord of the Rings movies. Don't know why. I just love to watch them around Christmas time. It's about the lighting. It gets darker.
Just because it has, and we talked about this earlier.
We don't get snow here. So
just because there's snow in a movie doesn't necessarily make it a Christmas movie.
You know what? None of us had Die Hard in our top 5.
Never seen it.
It's a good, it's a fantastic movie.
It is pretty good.
I can see how it's a Christmas movie because it occurs on Christmas Day. Fantastic movie. I'm not putting it in my top 5 for Christmas movies. All right, but quickly though, I have a story for y'all. It's related to the Polar Express. So Harper now is 5. Last year when she was 4, we were watching Polar Express. She had Polar Express Day at school, loved it. We watched it again at home that night, loved it, of course. I don't know, we read the book, loved the book. Well, maybe me, I told her, I was like, baby, you know you like the movie? I was like, she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm so glad you liked my movie. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, you know that movie's about me, right?
That poor girl.
She's like, what? Daddy, are you serious? Are you playing tricks on me again? I said, no. She's like, you're the little boy. I said, yeah, that happened to me in real life. I was like, I saw Santa. I was like, I still believe. Like, and then like the book, it comes with the little magic bell or whatever, like in the movie. And like I whipped it out. I'm like, see, I've still got the bell.
Oh, you hung the moon for that girl.
Yeah. Okay, so let's fast forward a year to this year. This kid hadn't forgot.
Kids don't.
Okay, it's one thing. So about their little couple, like one of the other characters is like Hannah, and then like the little nerdy boy was you.
That's the opposite.
So Kolton are like the nerdy boy.
Kolton.
Yeah. So you were on that train ride with me, but no. So fast forward to this year, dude. She's at school, told everybody.
Of course.
At church, has told everybody. My daddy's the little boy, the hero boy.
That's a story of a lifetime. Like,
yeah.
I'm just like,
dude,
how long do I let this go?
Let's
like,
fast
I'm gonna
forward.
have to build a train and show up Christmas night.
Let's fast forward again to when you tell her that's not about you.
No, not happening. I'm letting this ride, brother. I know
she may want to be up for adoption whenever she figures out you're not.
Isn't that hilarious though?
That is funny, but kids don't forget. And
Yeah.
the fact that she told everybody, I'm surprised it took her this long.
Yeah. Dude, so
Poor, sweet, innocent Harper.
All of her little friends though were like, "Oh my goodness, her daddy is the little boy."
You done messed up.
I can't
run.
wait to see how this plays out over the next decade. It's gonna be epic.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like I'm gonna have to build a train though and like roll up outside the house for her one day on Christmas Eve. And
You need to put out
and
never
like
mind, I'm not gonna say it.
do the train horn and like get her to come outside and like I'll pretend we're asleep and then get a conductor.
I would say reach out to to old TH, but I don't
Tommy.
know if you want him.
No, I don't want.
around.
No, I don't want to remember my kids with all the
Kids.
stuff that goes around.
Yeah.
Talks about him these days.
Right. So
Yeah, thought it was a good story.
I feel bad for Harper.
No,
That's
For her though,
fantastic,
you hung the moon.
for sure, it's awesome.
Dad of the year every year. Golly. Oh man. I could just see her like watching that movie in class. Like, oh, there's my dad.
Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome,
no.
right?
And then she looks at the ugly blonde-headed kid, the nerd with
Yeah.
the glasses. That was the farthest from
I
me.
know him.
She said, "Daddy, that's Kolton." I'm like, "Yeah, that's Kolton."
Poor Harper. I'm gonna tell her.
No, shh.
I'm gonna tell her.
Tell your kids you're gay. So
Here we go. All right. And that will wrap up this
Merry
episode
Christmas!
of Cap Sports again. So we will not come back until January 3rd. So we will then react to obviously the first round games that happened this weekend. We will then react to the quarterfinal games and the matchups going forward for the semifinal games. But yeah, guys, again, we appreciate you guys following along. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. So please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Reach out to family and friends. Tell them about us. We feel like we're a good time. We're getting better each and every week. And after the new year, we will hopefully have a upgraded system to where we can go live on YouTube for you guys to follow along with us as we do it. There will be raw content from there. Well, Justin can help us out now, but there is no coming back from what happens on live.
yep. Don't hold us accountable. Don't bother suing us because you ain't getting a dime.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, as always, appreciate you guys following along. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We will see you guys next year.
Yep. Merry Christmas, everyone. Again, not going to reiterate everything Kolton said. He hit it pretty nail on the head there.
Hit a pretty nail on the head.
Hit a pretty nail on the head. Hit the nail on the head pretty good. I've been around you too much now. You're just screwing up everything in my
There we
head.
go. It's my fault. I'm stupid.
But yes, thank y'all so much. But one thing, as he did say, we are on the road to 100 now. So just help us get there. It would, greatly benefit us and help us. We love doing this and we want to continue doing it. So thank y'all. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. See you next year.
Hit that like and subscribe for the crew.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.